Well, good. And how are things in Iowa, Sylvia?
We had a nice rain yesterday and the grass is green and things are good. Yeah, supposed to have some strong storms in southern Iowa today.
Yeah, they're coming this way. There's nothing on the screen. Well, there's nothing on the screen. But don't turn it on. We can see them. Yeah, we see you just fine, but Norma can't see you. For some reason, Norma wants to see you. There we go.
There he is.
Oh, there's Dan. I had a dream about Dan being.
Is that where you were in Seattle, John?
No. We did a national parks tour out west, through the Grand Canyon and Monument Valley and Arches and the Colorado National Monument and then South Dakota and Mount Rushmore and then Yellowstone and the Tetons and Moab. No. Let's see. Bryce Canyon, I guess. Bryce Canyon and Zion.
That was a trip.
I was Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Twice.
My sister lives out in Colorado, and she and her husband took me to Colorado National Monument. I was expecting, something to look at. Man, those drop-offs on that road.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Good heavens. And the tunnels through the mountains that are just wide enough to, I keep thinking, I hope there's not a car coming the other way.
Yeah. I think it was in Bryce, I believe, or Bryce or Zion. The bus could only go right through the middle. They had to stop traffic going the other way to get us through.
Well, we were on the new road that they're building in North Yellowstone because of the other one being washed out. And we had special permission to a private guided tour through the gate before the workers showed up in the morning and had them out of there when they were at lunch in the middle of the day.
Oh, wow.
So that was a little bit of an excitement because we almost didn't make it. Big buffalo jam on the road. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we had a jam one day on the road. That was what we saw the most of buffalo when we were in Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Well, when we went up to Colorado National Monument, like I said, that I don't like drop-offs. So I'm sitting there. My sister was on the inside. She doesn't like them either.
Yeah.
The two tourists and then the two Coloradans were up front. Dave's just driving with his arm over I'm going, could you put both hands on the wheel? We get up the top and I think, oh, we made it. We're getting ready to walk into the visitors center and the ranger walks out and goes, just want to let you know, we've had 2 rattlesnakes spotted around here this morning. So just be aware. I thought, oh, great. I survived the trip up. Now I'm going to get bit by a rattlesnake.
Yeah.
It is beautiful though. Man.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
So that was how many people on this tour with you, John?
About 25.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
you were on a bus?
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
Anybody else you knew?
A couple of one of the teachers and her husband that Betty taught with. We from this area.
Uh-huh.
And the rest of the people we didn't know.
Yeah.
But it turned out to be a good group.
Good. Morning, Sue.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Talking about our travels.
You'll be traveling this way, won't you, this week?
Yes, I'm coming on Friday, and I'm picking up Steve Miller's sister, Nancy, who lives at Searsboro, and her husband died last winter after a diagnosis late in the summer. It just seemed like it went really fast for her, but she's going to come and stay a few days with her sisters and hopefully see Steve and Jan. They didn't promise they'd be home when I talked to them, so but I'll have a riding partner. Dan may need to be here for harvest beginning about next week.
Oh.
Yeah, beans are starting to dry here.
Yeah.
They're still pretty green.
I plan to be there through Tuesday and work at the church with whatever files need to be sorted and decisions need to be made about music and all of those things that are a little tedious. I hope someone has found the key to the file cabinets.
I don't know. We may have to dynamite them.
Well,
I don't know.
We'll have to get to them somehow. So last time I knew they were locked and the keys might be somewhere in the coat room on the wall, but I didn't try them all.
Okay. Well, if I remember after meeting, I'll go look and see if there's, oh, there goes the music emissary is headed that way now. Norma's walking back there.
Okay. I don't think the music cabinet is locked, but the records and the pictures and all that are, I think there are 3 cabinets and 2 of them are locked, and last time I tried. I do have some suggestions about what we might do with some of the money. When are you receiving those suggestions?
We'll talk about them at monthly meeting.
Yeah. Okay.
One of the things I think we were hoping to do was not to do anything with the money right away, just let it, so that we could really carefully consider, you know, over a couple months, what should be done and begin to gather suggestions. We still need to spend the Carroll Mills $10,000 this year too.
Well, that's still in our local control. It's not necessarily in with the real estate money.
Oh, no, that one's all set. So that's easily accessed. But yeah, we'll talk at monthly meeting next week about what folks want to do about the big chunk. Theoretically, we'd receive it at the end of October. I know Steve and I had talked some about would it be best to put it someplace to earn a little interest while we take a few months to decide what to do. You know, if there are big chunks we're going to want to give away at one time, or how we want to begin to disperse that.
Well, Sylvia, there's a plethora of keys back there. So we have a big assortment we can choose from to see if any of them will open the cabinets up there.
Well, they would be the small ones that get into the cabinets, not the larger ones. So
not everything is identified that's back on the shelf. So we have a bundle to work with.
A puzzle to finish, yeah. I just have a burden for Friends United meeting who had employees this summer working in 85-degree offices because the air conditioning went off, and the estimate to repair it or replace it is about $80,000. And I thought, just not something they're going to get from donors. We might think about how to supply that need. they need a whole, I don't think anything's been changed since the building was built in the 50s.
Wow.
So it looks like they need a whole replacement of a heating cooling system.
So when did this happen? That's the first I heard. I just was curious.
When did the air conditioning go out?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it was out all summer and it just
Oh, wow.
got really bad in late July.
When it got hotter. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Hi, Dave.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm still here.
That was uplifting. Inspiring, still here. Boy, a lot of enthusiasm there.
He's
Dave.
had a rough couple weeks.
Have you?
I got the Chinese virus.
Oh.
I read yesterday that Florida had a record number of cases for all since the beginning, that it was growing really fast in Florida.
I hadn't heard that, but I'm not surprised because I know a number of people like myself who got away without it for 2.5 years have picked it up recently. I'm not exactly sure what to attribute that to. A lot of people in and out of Florida now that didn't used to be.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it seems like a lot of people have got it, you know, even through yearly meeting time and so on. Several people had it involved in the yearly meeting and so on.
Yes. Fortunately, if you've had shots and boosts and so forth, it's not as critical for most people.
Yeah.
I just got a text from Stan Bailey. Says, we're still feeling a little puny and don't want to spread any germs. Hope you all are doing well.
So I always
COVID
He had pneumonia.
again?
I think
They had COVID first, he and Nancy and Heather.
so. They had COVID and then he got pneumonia. So he's be hanging on for a while. Hi, Jonathan.
Good morning.
Morning, Jonathan.
Hi, Jonathan.
Sue, I always marvel at you sitting there every Sunday morning, all prim and proper, every hair in place. Only thing that ever happens is when your cat jumps on your shoulder or something like that.
Jonathan and I had a real nice chat a couple of weeks ago for about an hour. It's fun to get to know him a bit better.
Yes,
I didn't know he was a hunter out in southeastern Kentucky with his dad. Yeah.
What do
I'd like to have been there for that.
Pardon?
I'd like to have been there for that conversation.
It was lots of fun. Well, Norma has a prelude for us while we center. Well, by way of announcements, we're not going to have Sunday school today. And then we've been chatting, monthly meeting will be next Sunday. So regarding the building sale, everything's just proceeding along nicely at this point. The Chin congregation's getting an inspection and all that stuff. We're supposed to have that all wrapped up, but all their paperwork for the loan, and they have quite substantial building fund that will cover half of what they offered. So they don't have to get that large a mortgage on the building. And last I talked to Bob Roby, the closing will still be around the 28th of October, so at the end of the month. And Canby Tabernacle has been notified their 90 days notice that we had to give them about with our space sharing agreement. So that ends December the 15th. And the Chins have agreed to let them stay through that, but they don't want to share space. They're big enough that they want to use the whole building themselves. So that's kind of what's going on that front. Are there joys or concerns to share this morning?
I went to Decatur's homecoming game Friday night, and it's the first homecoming game I've gone to there since I was a freshman in high school. I went because my grandson's in the band, and the band really did a great job. And if you'd like to see it, it's posted on my Facebook page. The football team didn't do as well.
Well, Nancy's not here because she's having trouble walking again. I've noticed more of a decline in the last week than I normally do. So we have a doctor's appointment this week to see if they can give her some kind of shot to help with the pain that she's always in her legs. But her steps are getting smaller and she's unsteadier, and I think yesterday she had a piece of toast and a cookie and a taco. That's all she had the whole day. And this morning she couldn't remember whether she fixed herself toast and coffee or fixed me anything. And she just said, I'm just gonna lay down and sleep. So I got her comfortable, and so kind of hard to watch.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow she'll probably be fine, which is what the doctor said. The neurologist says that's the kind she has. She'll have a really great day and then a week of bad days. And they'll just pretty cinch up, more bad than good. So. We can remember Steve and Lynn, who are traveling with the Earlham buddies, is what I call them. I don't know what they call themselves. I think Loring and Beth are with them too.
Okay.
Or I don't know. I think they were planning on it. So.
I don't think Loring and Beth ended up going.
Didn't they, because of their complications with COVID?
Yeah, but they're with Bert and Sally in Black Mountain, North Carolina. And there should be a group of maybe 16 or 18 with spouses. So they're having a good time.
Well, Chip's our worship leader this morning, so we'll center and keep joys and concerns and lift them to God. And Chip can speak as he feels led.
Well, I started this message last month and then I changed my mind. But it made me think, it gave me time to reflect on what the message is about, being grateful. And I was almost, and I'm trying to live in the moment and be grateful for things. And last Sunday, I was almost late for meeting, even though I got up at 4:30. I fed the birds early and was drinking my coffee and realized that when I did that, everybody came out to eat. And so I stood there and watched the raccoons and the deers play while they cleaned out the bird feeders. And the birds sit in the tree wondering what had happened. But I remember Dan Berger saying, sometimes you could get a good picture, but really you just needed to enjoy the moment because God sent it there for you. So that's what I did. I would like to start my message today with a couple of lines from Psalm 136. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, for his steadfast love endures forever. And the people of God are thankful people, for they realize how much they have been given. Today, my message will be about gratitude. The dictionary defines gratitude as the quality of being thankful, readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. The Bible describes it as a word used to express thankfulness and praise, and the Bible teaches us about the power of having a grateful heart. An attitude of thanksgiving has the power to fill us with hope and joy. Also, biblical thankfulness means acknowledging the kindness of the giver. It turns the focus to the one who gives. In other words, thankfulness means showing appreciation for the goodness, effort, and thankfulness of the giver. I choose to talk about gratitude this morning after I saw a news story telling about a man who for years wrote about the things he was grateful for in his diaries every day. For fun, he put a blank diary out in several libraries and attached a note asking others to write down what they were grateful for. It became so popular with the people in the libraries that he added more diaries and then added more libraries to his project. In the end, he gathered together all the diaries he had put out, read them, and then wrote a book about what all the people had to say about being thankful for. I'm sorry to say that I was unable to find the name of the author or the name of the book. On the news show, he read some of the things people were grateful for, as well as some of the things he was grateful for from his own diaries. Well, you would expect things like my family, the new puppy, but not about death. The author talked about what a joy it was to be with his mother when she died and how closer he felt to her because of that. Now, I understand that being someone at the end of their life could be joyful, and you would be grateful for the experience. In the late 80s, my best friend Ron contacted AIDS. AIDS was pretty new in the Midwest, and Ron was treated like a leper in Bible times. People went out of their way to stay clear of him, not speaking to him, and no one visited Ron. Well, except for me and some of his family. When you would visit Ron in the hospital, you had to put on a hospital gown and wear gloves. I remember one night Ron called me from his hospital bed and wanted me to come to the hospital and hold his hand. I explained that it was after 10 p.m. and visiting hours were over. I could hear him talking to a nurse, and when he came back on the line, he said it was okay for me to come see him. I got dressed, went to the hospital, put on my required protection, and into his room I went and held his hand. It wasn't 5 minutes and he was asleep, but I stood there holding his hand. A nurse came in and told me what a good friend I must be to keep holding a sleeping man's hand. It really made me feel grateful that I was there. I would go to the hospital after I got off work each evening and made sure I was there in time to feed him dinner. It gave Ron and I time to visit and freed up time for a nurse to do other things. I was grateful I could help someone else and grateful to spend time with Ron. After several months, Ron was moved to a hospice facility. I would go visit him after work and we would talk about things. One evening, the doctor got me aside and said I should tell Ron I would be all right if he wanted to cross over. The doctor was worried he was just hanging on to life because he was worried about me, and I agreed I would talk to him. Then that was not an easy conversation. I explained to Ron that I thought when you were ready to go, you would see a light, and it was okay to go to it. His parents would be all right, and so would I. I just asked that he would do something that would make me laugh when he did cross over, just so I wanted to know everything was all right. One evening when I was there with Ron asked me just who I was. I told him that I was his best friend. He said he thought that might be the case as I was there all the time. He didn't know at that point who I was, but I was grateful to be with him. A few days later, I got a call from Ron's mother telling me that there wasn't much time left, and if I wanted to go be with Ron, I should go now. I left the office and made a mad dash to be with Ron. When the time did come, I drove like a madman, all the time saying, "Don't you dare die till I get there to be with you." I'm sure you have seen the pictures of Prince William driving the car full of people to go be with his grandmother. The way he held the steering wheel and the look on his face made me think of me rushing to be by Ron's side. I got to the room and took off my coat. I took Ron's hand and said, "It's okay to go to the light now." I was there less than 5 minutes and he was gone. I stood there holding his hand for a while and then went to tell the nurse. His parents were notified and I was told I could just stay in the room while they got Ron ready for his parents to see him. And then there it was, the sight that I had asked for, something that was an inside joke between the two of us, and it made me smile. I understand how someone could feel grateful, even if it really is a sad moment. I felt the same way when my mother was ill. I moved in with her and Troy and I cared for her. And it was a joy for me to be with her in the end. Now I must tell you, we thought Mother was near death and 2 of my cousins came to the house. One of them told Mother she could go to the light. And I don't know why I did it, but I said, "And when you get there, be sure and look up John Abbott." Now, Mother loved the soap opera, The Young and the Restless. John Abbott's character died on the show, but he would come back and talk to his children. Well, it made Mother crazy, and she hated when that happened. Well, after I said that, she opened her eyes and laughed. She was not about to cross over then. Mother always said that she wanted to die like her mother, in her sleep and at home, and she didn't want a bunch of people around. She got her wish, While we were watching The Young and the Restless, Mother fell asleep, and when I went into the other room and when I came back, she was gone. It gave me much joy to be with her and help her in her hour of need. Okay, well, those stories were pretty downers, so let's liven things up a bit. While I was having coffee on my front porch with my 3 cats, watching the animals and the birds at my feeding station, I was thinking about how grateful I am. I was running things by in my mind, and it made me think of the song from Ragtime. Ragtime is a Broadway musical first produced in 1996 and is set in the early 20th century. There's a musical number called The Crime of the Century. Everyone is singing that this is the crime of the century, the biggest crime that's going to be for that century, and it was only 1904. It made me think about all I am grateful for, and my diary would be filled up by 10 o'clock a.m. I will give you a few examples. I wake up and I'm always grateful for a good night's sleep and always grateful that I woke up. I'm greeted by my 3 cats. They're all feral, but chose to move in with me. I am so grateful for the inside plumbing. Sure wouldn't want to go back to the outhouse days. I'm living in a house where I lived most of my life. I have woods on 2 sides of my property, and I am paid regular visits by deer, duck, rabbits, squirrels, all kinds of birds, and of course, my beloved raccoons. I have electricity in my home, a wonderful coffee maker that makes coffee really fast. While I'm drinking my coffee, I look at the things I have collected that bring me joy. Next door live my son, his wife, and my grandson. Behind me lives my dear friend Troy, and we have been friends for 30 years. I get Drake on the bus, check messages on my computer, have more coffee on the porch with my cats. Now this is just the tip of the things I am grateful for, and it's only 10 o'clock in the morning. You get my point. Now, do I give thanks to God? Well, I try as often as I can. You see, judging from my own experience with helping others, some people are so grateful and others just take the money and run. I found that when you say to someone, I can loan you some money, in most cases, if you don't have a legal contract, you will never see or hear from that person again. Now, when you give someone money 1 or 2 times, things will happen. They will either keep coming back for more and more. So the 3rd time you say, I can loan you the money, they take the money and you never hear or have to deal with them again. Or you will give them the money and they will be really grateful. They will be so grateful they do something really nice for you. Or in one case, I helped a friend buy a boat. Every year when the family takes the boat out in the spring, I get a call and I'm told how much they enjoy being on the boat and thanking me for helping buy it. Now that is how God would like us to act. Don't just say thank you for helping me with this, but keep thanking him. I never read or seen a movie where God comes to a person and tells them to stop being grateful. Now, if that should ever happen to any of you, please let me know. As we go into our quiet time, I would like to share a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Cultivate the habit of being grateful in every good thing that comes to you, and to give thanks continuously. And because all things have contributed to your advancement, you should include all things in your gratitude.
We'll now move to more unprogrammed worship. All are welcome to stay. We know some folks need to leave, so we wish you Godspeed and blessings on your day. Hope to see you next week.
Thank you, Chip. Grateful for you and to you.
Well, if all hearts are clear, we'll close meeting for worship for today. It's good to see everyone.
Yeah.
Sue and Jonathan. So I hope to see you next week.
Good to see you all.
Bye.
Bye.